The cracks in the Brown family's unity have been exposed once again, but this time the revelations are too explosive to ignore. Christine Brown has broken her silence, revealing shocking details about Meri's treatment of her children, and fans are furious. What was once whispered speculation is now out in the open, leaving viewers outraged, betrayed, and demanding answers. The world of sister wives has always thrived on a delicate balance between family unity and the chaos of plural marriage. For years, viewers tuned in to watch Kody Brown, his wives, and their children attempt to build a cohesive household while grappling with the complexities of love, faith, and jealousy. But recently, Christine Brown shattered the polished surface of that family image by pulling back the curtain on a deeply painful truth that has left fans outraged and more invested than ever before. Christine's revelations about Meri Brown's explosive treatment of her children have ignited heated debates across social media, in fan groups, and among reality television analysts who have long suspected that what viewers saw on camera was only a fraction of the real story. The aftermath of these confessions has sparked both anger and heartbreak as fans reconsider the true dynamics of a family they thought they knew inside and out. Christine's decision to speak out came after years of silence. Years in which she played the role of the peacemaker and the nurturing mother who put her children above everything else. When she left Kody Brown and publicly declared her independence, fans celebrated her bravery. But the story did not end there. In interviews on social media, and even in snippets from her new memoir, Christine began to drop pieces of a puzzle that painted a disturbing picture of how Meri Brown allegedly interacted with her children. The words explosive treatment and final blowout fight have quickly become rallying cries among fans, who feel betrayed by Meri's carefully cultivated image of being a loyal and misunderstood wife. For many longtime viewers, the cracks in the family's unity were visible long ago. Tension between Meri and the other wives was no secret, particularly with Christine, who often found herself at odds with Meri's sharp tone and rigid personality. But what stunned audiences was Christine's candid acknowledgement that the conflict went beyond adult disagreements. According to her, Meri's behavior toward her children crossed lines that no mother could easily forgive. Fans immediately connected the dots, recalling scenes from past seasons where Christine's children seemed uncomfortable or distant around Meri, though those moments were often brushed aside as editing choices or simple sibling-style disagreements between adults and kids. Now, in light of Christine's revelations, those fleeting moments take on a much darker tone. The outrage has been swift and fierce. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds where viewers debate whether Meri should have been held accountable sooner. On forums dedicated to sister wives, fans shared screenshots of old episodes, rewatching with fresh eyes and pointing out subtle cues they believe support Christine's claims. One particularly vocal group of fans recalled how Meri, during early seasons, struggled to find her footing as Kody pursued relationships with the younger wives. Some argue that Meri's frustration and isolation may have fueled resentment that spilled over onto the children, creating an unhealthy environment. Christine's revelations have reignited those theories and given them more weight than ever. Christine has not minced words in describing how difficult it was to watch her children be treated in ways that left them hurt and confused. She detailed moments where Meri's outbursts left lasting scars, moments that Christine could no longer ignore once she had stepped away from the plural marriage lifestyle. Fans have expressed admiration for Christine's willingness to defend her children even years later, while condemning Meri for what they now see as manipulative and toxic behavior. In many ways, the situation mirrors the broader story of sister wives itself, the veneer of unity masking deep fractures that ultimately could not be hidden. The final blowout fight Christine referenced has become the stuff of legend among fans. Though the details remain somewhat vague, Christine made it clear that this was the tipping point, the moment she knew her relationship with Meri could never be repaired. This explosive confrontation allegedly laid bare all the resentment, jealousy, and frustration that had been festering for years. It was not just a clash between two wives competing for respect within the family. It was the culmination of years of unresolved anger and perceived mistreatment that finally reached its breaking point. For Christine, it marked the end of any hope for reconciliation with Meri, and for viewers it has become a key moment in understanding why the Brown family unraveled so dramatically. The outrage over these revelations is amplified by the way fans feel they were misled. Sister Wives has long presented itself as a reality show that captures the raw and authentic experiences of a polygamous family. But Christine's confession suggests that some of the darkest parts of that reality were glossed over or edited out. Viewers now wonder how much of the truth was hidden behind staged scenes of family dinners, holiday gatherings, and attempts at group therapy. The idea that Meri may have treated children explosively while producers looked the other way raises uncomfortable questions about the ethics of reality television and the responsibility of networks to protect vulnerable participants. Christine's children, many of whom are now adults, have also spoken in ways that seem to validate their mother's concerns. Several have hinted at difficult relationships with Meri, and though not all have gone into detail, their cautious words have not gone unnoticed. Fans have pieced together their stories, seeing them as corroboration of Christine's claims. Picture that emerges as one of children caught in the crossfire of adult rivalries, bearing the brunt of anger that should never have been directed at them. For Christine, this was the ultimate betrayal, and for fans, it is the ultimate reason to rally behind her and condemn Meri's actions. In the larger narrative of Sister Wives, this scandal has also reshaped how viewers perceive Kody Brown's role. Many are asking why Kody did not intervene more forcefully if his children were being mistreated. Some suggest that Kody's favoritism toward Robyn and his detachment from his other wives blinded him to the tensions within the family. Others believe he chose to ignore problems with Meri because he was already emotionally checked out of their marriage. Whatever the reason, fans are furious that the father of the household allowed such behavior to persist without consequences. This has further cemented the view that Kody was more concerned with his own desires and image than with the well-being of his children. The fallout from Christine's revelations has extended beyond fan discussions. Media outlets have picked up the story, framing it as yet another chapter in the ongoing saga of the Brown family's disintegration. Headlines highlight the words explosive treatment and final blowout fight, amplifying the drama and ensuring that the story remains front and center in public consciousness. Reality television experts have weighed in, noting that this kind of candid confession is both rare and significant, as it exposes the darker side of a family that built its brand on unity and resilience. Christine herself has emerged from this firestorm with renewed strength. Far from being criticized for dredging up the past, she has been applauded for her honesty and courage. Fans see her as a protective mother who is finally telling the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be for those involved. In contrast, Meri's reputation has taken a severe hit. Already struggling with fan perception due to her strained relationship with Kody and her emotional distance from the other wives, this scandal has left her image tarnished even further. For many viewers, Meri's redemption arc, if there ever was one, has officially ended. The outrage shows no sign of slowing down. Fans continue to dissect every new detail, sharing their support for Christine and their condemnation of Meri. The story has become a cultural touchpoint for discussions about family dynamics, emotional abuse, and the responsibilities adults have toward children who are not biologically their own. In a way, Christine's revelations have transcended the world of reality TV, striking a chord with anyone who has ever experienced or witnessed similar struggles within blended families or toxic households. As Sister Wives moves forward, it remains to be seen how the show will address or ignore these revelations. Some fans demand that the network acknowledge the controversy, perhaps even give Christine a platform to tell her side in greater detail. Others predict that the show will attempt to move on, focusing on new storylines and avoiding the uncomfortable truths that threaten to undermine its brand. But whether or not the cameras capture it, Christine's words have already changed the narrative forever. Fans will never look at the Brown family the same way again, and Meri's reputation may never recover from the damage. Christine's revelations about Meri's explosive treatment of her children and their final blowout fight have struck a nerve that goes far beyond tabloid drama. They have exposed the human cost of unresolved rivalries, favoritism, and emotional neglect within a family that was supposed to embody strength and unity. Fans are outraged, yes, but they are also deeply moved by Christine's courage and the resilience of her children. The story is a sobering reminder that behind the cameras and carefully crafted narratives, real people live with the consequences of choices, words, and actions that can shape their lives forever. And in the case of the Brown family, those consequences are now playing out on a very public stage, with millions watching, judging, and deciding where their loyalties truly lie. The saga of the Brown family has always been one of contradictions. To the outside world, they presented themselves as pioneers of plural marriage, determined to show that love, commitment, and faith could sustain a lifestyle most Americans viewed as unconventional. For years, Sister Wives became not only a reality show but a cultural touchstone, opening the doors of Kody Brown's family to millions of curious viewers. But behind the cameras, away from the edited montages of holiday dinners and awkward family meetings, a darker truth was brewing, one that Christine Brown has finally chosen to lay bare. Christine's latest revelations about her strained relationship with Meri Brown have changed the way fans see the entire family. Her candid accounts of Meri's treatment of her children, coupled with the story of a final explosive fight that marked the breaking point, have stunned longtime viewers and reignited debates that have followed the show since its earliest days. Christine has made it clear there is no turning back. She is no longer interested in preserving appearances or protecting reputations. For the first time, she is spilling the real story, and it is more heartbreaking, raw, and shocking than anyone imagined. For many fans, Christine's words validate years of speculation. Viewers who watched closely often noticed subtle moments when her children seemed uneasy around Meri. Perhaps it was a tense expression during a family meeting, or the way a child looked down when Meri raised her voice. At the time, these glimpses could be explained away as typical family squabbles or even poor editing choices by producers. But Christine's revelations have pulled the curtain back, confirming that those small moments were not anomalies but part of a larger, more painful reality. Christine has long been seen as the nurturing heart of the Brown household. As Kody's third wife, she dedicated herself to raising her children and supporting the sprawling family, often sacrificing her own happiness for the sake of unity. Fans admired her warmth, her humor, and her ability to find joy in difficult circumstances. But as she herself has admitted, that role came at a cost. To keep the peace, she stayed quiet about things that weighed heavily on her heart. And at the center of that silence was her rocky relationship with Meri. Meri Brown, the first wife, carried the unique burden of being both a trailblazer and an outsider in her own family. She had entered the plural marriage willingly, but the arrival of younger, more energetic wives strained her marriage to Kody and her relationships with the other women. Fans often saw Meri as sharp-tongued and defensive, particularly toward Christine, who seemed to embody the maternal qualities Meri sometimes struggled with. What viewers did not fully realize, however, was how this tension spilled over onto Christine's children. According to Christine, Meri's treatment of her kids went far beyond occasional disagreements. She described Meri as having a temper that erupted unexpectedly, leaving her children feeling targeted and unsafe. Christine has recounted moments where Meri's words cut deeply, where her outbursts created fear rather than discipline. To a mother like Christine, who prioritized creating a safe and loving environment, this was intolerable. She stayed silent for years, she admits, because speaking out threatened the fragile balance of the family. But as her children grew older and the emotional scars became clearer, Christine realized that silence was no longer an option. The story of the final explosive fight between Christine and Meri has become central to understanding why their relationship could never be repaired. Christine has described this confrontation as a boiling point, the culmination of years of resentment and frustration. It was not a quiet disagreement or a polite airing of grievances. It was an eruption, a raw and unfiltered clash that laid bare everything they had kept bottled up. For Christine, this was the moment she knew there would be no reconciliation, no moving forward with Meri as a trusted figure in her life or in her children's lives. The damage had been done, and the fight was the undeniable proof. What makes this revelation so shocking is the way it reframes the narrative fans have followed for over a decade. Sister Wives often portrayed Meri as a woman struggling with loneliness, yearning for connection after her relationship with Cody deteriorated. Viewers sympathized with her when she broke down over the catfishing scandal, or when she spoke of feeling abandoned by her family. But Christine's account forces fans to reconsider that sympathy. Was Meri a victim of circumstance, or was she also an aggressor who took out her frustrations on those around her? For Christine, the answer is painfully clear. Fans have responded to Christine's honesty with a mix of outrage and relief. Outrage at Meri for her alleged behavior, but relief that the truth has finally been spoken aloud. Social media has been flooded with messages of support for Christine, with viewers praising her bravery in defending her children. Many have shared their own stories of toxic family dynamics, relating deeply to the pain Christine described. Others have demanded accountability from Meri, questioning whether she should have been allowed to remain such a central figure in the family for so long. The network behind Sister Wives now finds itself in a difficult position. On one hand, Christine's revelations add a level of raw authenticity that reality television thrives on. On the other, they expose a troubling question. How much did producers know about the dynamics behind the scenes, and why was more not done to protect the children involved? Fans have begun to rewatch old episodes with new eyes, pointing out moments where they now believe Meri's behavior was glossed over or downplayed. The once unquestioned role of the cameras as neutral observers is now under scrutiny. Cody Brown's role in this story has also come under the microscope. As the patriarch, why did he not step in more decisively if his children were being mistreated? Some fans believe that Cody's growing favoritism toward Robin blinded him to problems with Meri. Others argue that Cody's emotional detachment from Christine and her kids made him unwilling to confront Meri, preferring instead to ignore the issue and hope it resolved itself. Either way, his silence has left many questioning his priorities as both a husband and a father. Christine's decision to finally tell the truth has also marked a turning point in her own personal journey. Having left Cody and remarried, she is no longer bound by the unspoken rules of plural marriage or the need to preserve a family image. She has built a new life defined by love, independence, and honesty. In sharing her story, she has not only defended her children but also reclaimed her voice after years of suppression. Fans see her as a symbol of empowerment, proof that breaking free from toxic relationships is possible, even when the world is watching. Meri, however, faces a far more uncertain future. Already estranged from Cody and struggling to find her identity outside the plural marriage, her reputation has taken a devastating hit.